A sudden scream was heard in the apartment building late at night. Husband George was about to take his pregnant wife Elsa to the hospital, but their female neighbor Laura suddenly burst in. Clutching her bleeding hand, she hugged George and cried, saying she had been assaulted. The arriving special victims unit learned from the doctor that Laura's palm had 15 stitches, but apart from that, there were no obvious wounds on other parts of her body. Before she passed out, she managed to ask the doctor to contact her boyfriend Jason. Why did Laura seek comfort from someone else's husband after being assaulted? At this point, Laura's phone suddenly rang. It was her boyfriend Jason called, but upon learning that Laura had been brutally assaulted, Jason chose to stand by and do nothing. It turned out that they only had a one-night stand, but Laura clung to him like a water ghost. This annoyed him a lot. Jason firmly said he didn't want to be involved in this matter. Officers Benson and Taylor had to question the couple. From George, they learned that Laura had just left the gym when a man with a sharp knife suddenly rushed out. He then dragged her into the stairwell and assaulted her. Because the man had deliberately covered his face with a ski mask, Laura didn't see his face clearly, but Elsa curled her lips. She complained that Laura usually liked to wander in the corridor in her underwear, but at this point, a loud noise suddenly came from the ward. The moment Laura, who had just woken up, saw the special victims unit, she got angry excitedly. She questioned why they had told Jason about the assault, making Jason avoid her. Benson and Taylor had to comfort her. After calming down, Laura took them to the crime scene and tremblingly told them about that terrible experience. The criminal had held a knife to her throat, made her lie on the steps, roughly pulled down her shorts, and then assaulted her. The whole process lasted an hour. The culprit was a white man, short, with a disgusting beer belly. His eyes were turquoise. Laura angrily emphasized that the criminal had held the stair handrail during the assault and must have left fingerprints. Since no strong clues were found in the stairwell, Benson and the other had to go to Laura's room to search. As soon as Taylor went into the room, he noticed that there were small toys all over the room. It was obvious that Laura's private life was a mess. This was confirmed in the next second.
Really need to get this off.
This made Taylor's face turn red instantly. No traces of Laura's blood were found in the stairwell. Under the police's questioning, Laura finally told the truth. It turned out that when the culprit was committing the crime, he was beaten by a black woman who hurried over. Laura clenched her palm and took the opportunity to escape, which is why no blood was shed. Benson was absolutely furious after hearing this. Laura actually waited until now to mention such important information about the witness. If the witness really had a conflict with the culprit, she is very likely to be retaliated against by him now. Realizing the seriousness of the matter, Officer Tuta quickly checked the surveillance videos of the apartment building. They learned from the security guard that Laura has a very strange personality. She would stir up trouble in the whole apartment over trivial matters. The police printed out screenshots of the surveillance footage. During the time of the incident, Laura immediately recognized the black woman who helped her, but the apartment's security guard said he had never seen this woman before. The woman walked into the building at 9 a.m. and never left. Everyone's hearts tightened at once. Could it be that the witness had already met with misfortune? The police quickly conducted a thorough search of the whole building. They finally found the unharmed woman in an apartment. The woman named Anna was a nurse, but when questioned by the police, Anna knew nothing about Laura's assault. She ended the conversation with a very indifferent attitude. In the absence of any strong clues, the police learned from Anna's employer that she was a very reliable person. The employer spoke highly of Anna. Moreover, Anna had no signs of injuries from a fight. Benson inferred from Anna's poor language skills that she was likely an undocumented illegal immigrant. At the same time, the police didn't detect any sperm residue in the assault report. Combined with Laura's usual behavior of seeking attention, everyone couldn't help but suspect that this might be a lie she made up on purpose. Even the witness might be a figment of her imagination. Just as everyone was puzzled, Benson suddenly received a call from a patrol officer. Laura tried to force her way into Jason's apartment. When the special victims unit arrived at the scene, they found that Laura was completely out of control and was apologizing to Jason at the top of her lungs. Her extreme behavior of shouting loudly caused nearby residents to file complaints one after another. Helplessly, Benson and Taylor had to force Laura back to her apartment. To calm down, Laura sadly said that she and Jason were childhood sweethearts. Jason had been secretly in love with her for a long time, but since she gave her precious first time to Jason, he had been ignoring her. Faced with their doubts, Laura flew into a rage and frantically claimed that everything she said was the truth. But at this point, Taylor and Benson quickly went to the suspicious apartment. The wretched man who opened the door had a pair of black eyes like a panda. The telescope in the room was coincidentally pointed at Laura's apartment. Since his features completely matched Laura's description, the two immediately took him back to the police station for interrogation. The man named Daniel was an unemployed vagrant. At this point, Officer March brought good news. Although no sperm was found in the assault report, the careless culprit still left a small amount of bodily fluids. Now all that needed to be done was to find a way to get Daniel's DNA. Benson, posing as a thoughtful waiter, even brought Daniel a glass of water. The police easily obtained his fingerprints and saliva. As long as they were compared with the evidence, it could be determined whether Daniel was the culprit. At first, the cunning Daniel was still making excuses for himself. Seeing that his crime was about to be exposed, he suddenly shamelessly claimed that Laura had taken the initiative to seduce him. Daniel claimed that wearing the mask was just to satisfy the other person's perverted preferences. He even deliberately revealed Anna's status as an illegal immigrant. He arrogantly said that Anna would never testify in court. For a stranger who had nothing to do with her, Benson couldn't bear it anymore, and arrested Daniel on the spot for assault. Due to the urgency of time, the police had to get Anna's consent to testify in court before the trial, otherwise, Daniel would be released on the spot due to insufficient evidence. To ensure the smooth progress of the case, the police went to Anna's residence again, only to find that she had already resigned and left. The day of the formal trial arrived, but what surprised everyone was, the police were busy to the point of being overwhelmed because of Laura, but she appeared in court wearing sexy clothes. The prosecutor was almost furious. Laura's attire was likely to affect the jury's judgment. The prosecutor managed to borrow a coat for her, but shortly after the trial started, Laura suddenly clutched her chest and let out a painful scream, just when everyone thought she was seeking attention again. The next second, Laura was quickly taken to the hospital. Given Laura's exaggerated behavior on usual days, the prosecutor thought she was faking illness on purpose. After all, Laura was clutching her right chest when she had a heart attack, but Laura's test results shocked everyone. Unluckily, the wound on Laura's hand was infected with a virus. The bacteria spread extensively to all organs of Laura's body. It caused multiple organ failure in a short period of time. A small cut could develop into such a fatal condition. Laura didn't have much time left to seek justice for her. The prosecutor picked up his phone and recorded her last words.
Cut my hand while he was raping me.
Even until her death, Laura was still concerned about her parents. She even hoped that Jason could see her for the last time. Laura's unexpected death immediately made everyone in the police station sad. No matter whether the virus was contracted in the hospital, the culprit was always Daniel's knife. The angry prosecutor decided to add a charge of murder to Daniel's offenses. But the tricky thing is that to make Daniel pay the price, the witness Anna must testify in court. Due to Anna's status as an illegal immigrant, all her information is fake. The police finally located the exact position of Anna's mobile phone through the clues provided by her employer. They finally found her at a roadside stall, but when Anna saw the police, she turned around and ran. Luckily, Taylor comforted her softly, and Anna agreed to go to the police station. Although Anna sympathized with Laura's experience, she was worried that she would be deported if her special status was exposed. Anna refused to testify in court. It wasn't until the prosecutor learned about her past in depth that he understood her concerns. Anna's hometown was a country where women's rights weren't protected. Assaults happened frequently there. Those men even use women as tools of war. Even Anna and her daughter weren't spared. They were assaulted by rebels in turn, in front of their husband. But instead of comforting Anna, her husband drove her out of the house. Anna had to flee to a refugee camp for shelter, but she was accused by militiamen of having an affair with the rebels, and was violently assaulted by men again. This tragic experience filled Anna with fear and despair about the world. Perhaps she didn't want her tragedy to repeat itself. Or perhaps she was moved by the prosecutor's sincerity. Anna finally agreed to testify in court. The prosecutor also promised to provide her with protection and help her get a green card. It seemed that they were one step closer to victory. But just 1 second before the court session, the Immigration Bureau suddenly appeared. The angry prosecutor quickly rushed into the Immigration Bureau with a subpoena, only to be told that Anna was actually linked to a terrorist organization. Her husband was a terrorist who was supplying materials to the enemy army. The prosecutor knew that this was Daniel's trick to get himself acquitted, but without sufficient evidence, the Immigration Bureau wouldn't release her. There were countless women in prison who had the same experience as Anna. Because they were vulnerable groups, even if they applied for immigration to the local government, it eventually came to nothing. Just when Anna was in despair, the well-connected prosecutor used his personal connections to finally rescue Anna from prison. Laura's last words were played in court on the spot. Laura's true image wasn't as unbearable as everyone saw. Her words were like a sharp sword, piercing everyone's heart. Present, Daniel immediately started shouting in front of the judge. At this point, witness Anna also appeared in court to testify. She first exposed Daniel's lie about consensual sex. She also described in detail the whole process of the assault she saw at that time, and firmly said that she had torn off the culprit's mask during the scuffle with him, confirming that it was the defendant Daniel who assaulted Laura. Seeing that he was about to lose the case, the shameless lawyer actually uncovered the deep scars in Anna's heart. But the brave Anna had no more worries. After telling her tragic experience, she loudly accused Daniel of what he had done. In the face of various strong evidences, the jury announced the final verdict after careful discussion. Although Daniel wasn't guilty of murder, he was guilty of first-degree assault. He would receive the most severe punishment of the law. Upon hearing this satisfying verdict, Anna was so excited that tears filled her eyes. She never thought that one day she could personally send a scumbag who committed assault to prison. After all, such a verdict was simply a fantasy in Laura's country. Anna was also inspired by this incident, and when Benson found her to fulfill the original promise, but Anna made a surprising decision. She admitted that she did want to stay here forever before the trial, but now she realized that there were thousands of female compatriots in her country waiting for salvation. Anna decided to go back to her hometown and use her own strength to help those women with the same experience. What surprised Benson even more was that Anna's experience also deeply touched the prosecutor. She even volunteered to investigate international criminal assault cases and joined a new team. She would go to dangerous conflict areas to prosecute violent assault crimes. She wanted to do her bit to defend justice for more women with the same experience. This story is simply depressing. Laura liked to attract attention, but her experience of being assaulted was indeed tragic. She eventually passed away unluckily due to wound infection. Before her death, she still thought of her parents and that irresponsible boyfriend. That wretched Daniel was simply devoid of conscience. He committed the crime wearing a mask and even bit back, falsely accusing Laura of seducing him. It's very shameless. Anna's experience is even more distressing. After being assaulted, she wasn't only abandoned by her husband but also bullied by militiamen. Finally, she summoned up the courage to stand up and testify in court, exposing her scars to everyone. It made the viewers' eyes fill with tears. This episode tears apart the complexity of human nature. It also allows us to see women's struggles and courage in difficult situations. The editor sincerely hopes that there will be fewer such tragedies and more justice and warmth in reality. If you like my channel, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.